Hello everyone, and today we are going to be watching the Verge's PC build now. It was taken down a few years ago, but thankfully there's a re-upload. Without further ado, let's go.
A few years ago, TC, or Managing Editor, built a gaming desktop, but it's kind of out of date, and it's definitely not going to hold up for Battlefield 5. So, let's build a new one. You can build a gaming desktop for around $1,000, but I want to go all out, so I spent around $2,000. A PC like this is going to be able to play most games at ultra settings. So, what do you need to build a desktop? Well, of course, first you need a table.
No, I thought I could build it midair. Really?
Preferably not metal. If it's going to be metal, have an anti-static working surface layered on top of it, a thermal paste applicator.
No one uses one.
An Allen wrench.
Only for custom loops, but the tools that require an Allen wrench will come with it.
Some tweezers to tighten up the wires.
Those are zip ties, not tweezers.
A Swiss Army knife, which hopefully has a Phillips-head screwdriver.
Wait a minute. A Swiss Army knife that hopefully, just hopefully, has a Phillips head in it. Just a second. I don't live on hopes and dreams. I don't build computers on hopes and dreams. Just a second, let me find it. Here it is. I do not build computers with hopes and dreams. I build computers with this. There is no hopefully about this. How does your office with so many dozen tech employees and so many dozen people not have one of these? 2 million subscribers doesn't even have a fucking screwdriver. Next thing.
And last but not least, an anti-static.
That's not protecting you from any static at all. That's just a bracelet. I think this watch is going to protect me from more static than that.
Bracelet, which is to protect you and the parts. These are the parts you're going to need, but more importantly, before we get there, we need to understand what these parts are doing and how they interact with one another. To better understand the parts that make up the desktop, let's try to understand them individually. The processor is like the computer's brain.
Okay, this is actually cool.
Everything the computer does. The motherboard is like the foundation.
Not exactly accurate, but I see the
representation. It also allows the other
it's
parts
really
to
cool.
communicate with one another, which also makes it kind of like a nervous system. Graphics cards are responsible for rendering and processing visuals into what you see on screen. Our PC's power supply is, of course, channeling electricity, in that it adjusts and provides the right amount of energy to keep it running. Last but not least, RAM, or Random Access Memory, and your hard drive are good examples of short-term and long-term memory, respectively. If you want to understand what kind of computer to build, then first figure out what you want to use it for. A gamer might care more about a graphics card than, say, a video editor who might want extra RAM to assist with editing large files. If you're building a budget build for video streaming, say under $1,000, you want to focus on parts, like a Core i5 or Core i3 processor, that require less energy. They'll be less powerful, but then you'll be able to scale back the cost of several other parts. And if you need help choosing the right parts for your build, there are sites like PCPartPicker.com that help show presets for which parts fit together, which sort of part conflicts you might have, and where to find deals on new parts. We have a lot of boxes and a lot of PC parts as well.
Why would you rip open a power supply box? I don't have a power supply box to show you how to open one, but oh my god, that is so stupid. And I still haven't gotten over the screwdriver thing. Oh, sorry guys.
As you unbox them, isolate the parts that you really need, place I start building to the case.
No! No! You put the power supply, the fan facing out, otherwise it's gonna choke and short circuit and blow up. Like, in my brother's computer, what I accidentally did was I mounted the power supply facing down because because he has a Mesh 5C, but I forgot it was missing its feet, and so it's right on the hardwood. I do not have it on the floor, but that's still going to choke it. And so what I did was, because there is ventilation in the top of the power supply shroud, because I have the GPU mounted in the top slot, I didn't think it'd be the worst idea to put the power supply facing up. Conflict me on it if you want, but I think it's just going to choke if it's facing down.
Make sure that they all fit and then start working. And now
that radiator has no fans on it.
By adding the motherboard in. Some notes about installing motherboards: they're really delicate. You should be really careful with them.
Okay.
And screw in with confidence.
Screw with the confidence. Yes, I'm going to screw with my Swiss Army knife that hopefully has a Phillips head attachment. With confidence. It's like I'm going to use this keyboard as an example. Oh, shoot.
And screw in with confidence.
There we were, screw. It's like, oh shit. 3 seconds, guys.
So a few years ago, TC new parts. They're really delicate. You should be really careful with them. And screw in with confidence.
In confidence to what? As well, like, I'm confident. Give me my screwdriver. Hey. I'm screwing with confidence. I don't know if you can see me. I just unscrewed a screw. By the way, I do not recommend setting up screws with magnetic screwdrivers with your teeth. I just did that because I have a keyboard in one hand and I'm filming. I don't know if you saw me in whatever. It's the middle screw. It should be whatever. I'm gonna keep the screwdriver because I still haven't gotten over this screwdriver thing. Screwing a Swiss Army knife that hopefully has a Phillips attachment on it. Anyways, moving on.
But also don't screw in too hard, otherwise you could crack the board. You
cannot crack the board. You could strip a stand off, but you cannot crack a board.
I chose Asus
Asus. You mean Asus? Asus?
370 motherboard for two main reasons. One, it has built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth.
You sound like you have no idea what you're talking about.
SSDs, meaning you can get really fast SSDs that are really easy to install.
And why are we installing it straight into the chassis? Like, when I build a computer, when I build this one, again, you want to pile, CPU, open air cooler on there, IO, different story, memory, maybe I've got 2 SSDs. No, straight into the case. Why? And I bet you're gonna screw it in with your Swiss Army knife that hope to God has a Phillips attachment in it. I don't build computers on hopes and dreams. I build computers with screwdrivers.
Pay close attention to the brace.
The brace! The brace! It's an I/O shield, not a brace. I mean, I can't speak. I don't even have my I/O shield. I'm sorry, brace. But still.
It goes at the back of the computer. You always have to make sure that you really hammer it in.
Do not hammer it in!
Because there's no screw, it really just has to go outside of the case and clasp onto the frame. And this is very important because otherwise you can't align the motherboard correctly with the holes.
Yes, you can! I installed the motherboard!
We're just going to start installing all 8 screws.
There's 9.
So next we're going to install the RAM on the motherboard. I chose Corsair's 16GB Vengeance LED RAM for 2 main reasons. One, it has LEDs and we do like lights in gaming desktops. Secondly, it's pretty fast RAM. It's 2,666 megahertz.
2666 is not very fast for DDR4. For DDR3, it's damn fast, but for DDR4... Imagine if they made a DDR5 2666K. That'd be hilarious, but... Anyway, let's move the fuck on.
So it's pretty fast, and this motherboard supports that speed.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna run into a bottleneck with your motherboard.
Open the slots. Right?
Why are you opening all four?
Lining the stick
No.
with the middle of the strip, not with the end, and just lining that up with the logo.
If I was building my first computer, I would be the confusest thing right now. It's called, you look at the gold pins, you find the notch, you line it up with the plastic notch in the slot, and you press firmly.
So once you hear that solid clasp and
click
connectors on the side anymore, that's when you know the RAM is in. Step 3, we're going to install the hard drive.
You haven't installed ROM.
The NVMe SSD. I chose this format of solid state drive so that I can input it into the motherboard without having to worry about extra wires or putting it in a separate part of the case and just getting really messy. This is from Kingston, and it's 480 gigabytes,
that is not
so it's not a lot, but you can always upgrade this and swap it out, and it's only held down by one screw and the latch, so it's really simple and really straightforward. Speed for gaming is important when it comes to...
He still has a Swiss Army knife.
Quickly, and you want games to load quickly, so that's why it's best to use an SSD.
Again, how do you not have a screwdriver? A fucking screwdriver.
Okay, so step 4, we're going to install the graphics card. I chose PNY's GTX 1080.
You couldn't afford a better brand than PNY.
So it's a pretty easy installation. You're just going to find the gold connectors, and you're going to line this bracket with the back end bracket of your PC case. Now, which lane you choose depends entirely on what other parts you're going to put in the system. I'm just going to pick the top one.
No, it doesn't. Oh, poop, I can't pause. Next!
Because the SSD is at the bottom, and I didn't want to cover it. I just need to click on. Click down. Take your remaining brackets.
Why did you remove all of them? Oh yeah, so you could choose your slot, which thank the Lord I went in the right one. And then he put them all back. What the hell?
Then they get bolted down by the back end bracket. And your GPU is installed.
So many brackets.
Power supply time. I chose Corsair's 850 watt power supply because I need enough headroom for ray tracing GPUs when they come out, and I don't want to have to upgrade it again.
Okay.
So all you have to do is take the brick and...
The brick. You referred to a power supply as a brick. That is not a brick. That is a power supply.
You can only do 2 from your location. Yeah, Mom. You have to GPS from your house to mine, and then erase it, and then GPS.
Let's move on.
And make sure that you align it with these little insulating pads.
What are you insulating against? They're anti-vibration pads so that it doesn't rattle around. Alright. Calm down a bit. Moving on.
So the power supply doesn't short circuit and come into contact with the rest of the system. So just take it in, slide it in nice and
again! What's putting the fan face in? Face out!
Okay, you have a snug fit, and then shift it to the back and make sure it's right up against the frame. Now you just take the required screws.
Still with the Swiss Army knife. How do you not have a screwdriver?
So next step, we're going to install the CPU core. In this case, it's going to go on the top end of the case, and we're just going to have the hose hang out for a little while until we install the processor, which is going to come a little later.
We haven't installed it at this point, and the radiator have no fan. Is this the only passive AI I've ever seen?
System first before you install it, because you can see it takes up a lot of space. But in this case, unintended, it fits in perfectly, and we're going to start screwing it in. So there's nothing special about this screwing process. They're just
because you're using the use the shorts. So you've probably broken your radiator at this point.
Because they go through the entire frame of the cooler.
No, they don't.
And they take forever.
Because you're using the wrong screws. And with your Swiss Army knife.
The big bag of Velcro.
Hold on.
Next up.
There's 8 screws. You have 5 of them.
Cables. Every power supply is going to come with a big bag of Velcro.
Not every power
It's
supply.
kind of daunting at first, so you always have to find the ones that are going to fit. In this case, you need to match those cables.
You should have plugged those in before you installed the power supply,
Next
but
step,
whatever.
we're connecting the power supply to the motherboard with a 24-pin cable. We're just matching that cable from the motherboard, threading it through the back, and attaching the 24-pin header to the power supply so that we can have one of the connections complete. The next few additions will be for the GPU, for anything frame that they put on the motherboard. The case has the CPU, the GPU, for any specific ports that the case has, for any lighting that the case has, the CPU cooler, anything else really. We're installing the CPU, the heart of the computer or the brain.
2 different parts. What the hell?
To do this, we're just going to remove the plastic covering
That comes off automatically after you install it, stupid.
put on the motherboard. We're just going to take this little plastic part out.
No! You might need that if your motherboard dies. Next.
And now we have an exposed CPU holder, or rather slot.
Hold up, what slot? It is called a socket. S-O-C-K-E-T. Socket.
Motherboard. And we're going to use the CPU applicator. This is
what the hell that?
Not everyone may get, but this motherboard.
No. God, it's called the thermal paste applicator.
It makes it really useful if you want to install a Core i7 hexa-core CPU. Yeah, we've got one.
Yeah, we've got one. Super exclusive. You can only buy it at every major retailer in the world. Really though.
8th generation chip, and it's ready to go, and it supports overclocking. So what having this little installer does for you is it's basically a brace that you can apply right to the CPU and light it up with the triangles that we'll see at the bottom left corner. And this will make it easier for us to apply it to the motherboard and then apply thermal paste and then apply a CPU cooler on top. And we're just going to carefully lean it down into the system and make sure that everything lines up. And we're going to clasp down on it and be good to go.
Here's the tool!
So we're about to apply thermal paste to the CPU. Every CPU cooler actually comes with
every.
paste already manually applied.
That's enough.
But it's usually not enough. It's good, essentially PC buildings practice to have a little bit extra.
You're not even using your thermal paste applicator!
CPU cooler to the top end of the processor. So you're going to...
Hold on. Not only is that way too much thermal paste in the first place, but your CPU cooler already has thermal paste on it. Next.
There are brackets, brackets, right? To actually, like, internals are done, we're going to put all there. And we got to the post screen.
Otherwise, we're gonna have a dead farm. Why? Because you can't not start a farm. And it's snowing, so it has to be done. I mean, it's big ass flakes.
So what's next? Well, you need the USB flash drive with your Windows installation media on
You know
it.
how to do it?
And of course, the license key. So I plug that up install Windows in a couple of minutes, install a bunch of drivers, and now we have a fully functioning gaming PC ready to
Because I can't let the
make
kids
games
do
a good
it.
job. So right now I'm playing League of Legends. It's one of my favorite games. I'm actually
I
playing
tried
against a
Joe's
bot,
band.
and I'm just
That worries me. Wait, who's got loading dishes?
Nikki.
I do.
I don't know what to eat.
We're gonna need a loading here soon.
Not right now, I don't get something, okay?
But afterwards, you're gonna have to load it.
I don't know what to eat though.
Especially with the.
I don't know what.
Oh, do you want some of this?
Cereal?
Alright, and then he just keeps pretending to play League of Legends and brags how he's getting good FPS. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.